This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel-biting, bagel-bitch boy, bagel-bitch back.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time
MMA.
And what's up, full-time family? I know you didn't expect this. I said the last episode was the final episode of Full Time's Fake Money Bankroll, but this is actually gonna be the grand finale. It was such an anticlimactic end to end on the last episode. I was just upset we found out the channel was shadow banned, and I'm trying to get the channel unshadow banned. I don't even know if that's possible, but I have a feeling that maybe, and this is just one possibility, maybe the betting advice is why we're shadow banned on YouTube. I don't really have any other good idea why we would be, and you know how it goes. Somebody pointed out, like the movie Casino says, nobody beats the house. So the fact that we've had this success, we started off at $500 and we've continued to have this success, maybe, that's why we're shadow banned on the channel. But either way, I had to do one last episode. This is going to be the grand finale. The reason is, this is episode 40. I didn't want to end on episode 39. That was a weird number. So this is episode 40, and on episode 40, we're just cracking the $10,000 mark. Actually, we're cracking $12,000. But last week, episode 39, we were right at $9,000, all-time high, $9,200, and we were on a weird number, and we were right under 10,000. So I said, how can I not finish this series off? Episode 40, cracking $10,000. What a fucking run it's been. Now the run is going to continue over on Patreon. You can check the link in the description, but I can't just put it out here on YouTube on this public platform and expect my channel to not be shadow banned in my mind. That's one of the only reasons I can think of. So with that being said, man, if this doesn't work, then hey, we might bring it back to YouTube, because we might be permanently shadow banned for all I fucking know. And if you don't know about what being shadow banned is, it makes it way harder for your channel to grow. You can't really reach new viewers. Only people that have been to your channel in the past can really find your videos, whether you're live streaming or whatever. Like, we do fight companions. Normally people who are looking for our channel can find it, but on fight night they haven't been able to. Drops your numbers, drops everything. So yeah, that's been going on with the channel, which is why this is going to be moving to Patreon permanently. But if you are trying to win money, if you are anywhere where you can gamble legally, I'm telling you, it's worth it. We have the proof. You can go back week after week after week after week. If you're wondering where this started, since this is the grand finale, I'll explain one last time. We started with $500 before I even started this channel a little over a year ago. By the way, this was only in a year's time, a little over a year. We went from $500 to $12,000. Could you imagine if somebody wasn't as fucking broke as us and they didn't start with $500? Let's say they even started with $5,000. They would be at like fucking, what is that, $100,000 right now? We went from 500 to 12,000. We started at 5,000, you'd be at over $100,000 just off of our betting advice. Mystic Full-Time, your boy. Might be why we're shadow banned, which is why I really didn't want to put this here, but we got to, man. Episode 40, grand finale. Let's go. We started with $500. Let's see where we get to this episode in the grand finale, episode 40. Thank you guys who've enjoyed this. I enjoyed making this series. I definitely want to keep up with it, because like I said, I'm broke right now. I can't actually afford to bet on the fights. But it's good to know that I actually will have success once I start betting, once I can get the money together. So we'll see what happens. And by the way, 2 of our GoFundMes have got flagged down. I don't know what's the deal with all of this bullshit, but it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? As we're trying to get funds together for the channel and to maybe eventually start real betting with real money instead of just fake money. That would be fun too. But we're not going to be able to do it on a public platform without, repercussions, it seems like. So if you're interested in this from the future, go to the Full-Time MMA Patreon, which is patreon.com/fulltimemma, and just know you're guaranteed to win. I know it's crazy. We've only lost, out of like 40 weeks, we've only lost like twice. I know, fuck with your boy, that's all I'm saying. We don't lose much, and that's why we might be shadow banned. So let's start the episode, Full-Time family. It's the grand finale, episode 40. Last time you're going to see this on YouTube. Full Time's Fake Money Bankroll. Now, the Bellator odds didn't come out until like the day before the fight, and there was really only one fight I was really looking to bet on, as you can see right here. The rest of these guys were pretty heavy favorites, and I picked them to win, so I didn't want to throw any crazy money at a heavy favorite. So I did actually pick Ricky Bandejas to come in here and beat James Gallagher. I knew from the research I did he was a step up in competition, even though he was unknown and not as much of a known fighter. He was 10-1. He had a good team behind him, and James Gallagher really hadn't fought in his 7 pro fights a guy this experienced, and so I felt like Ricky Bandejas was definitely a very live underdog. James Gallagher did talk a lot of shit, you know, he's Conor McGregor's teammate, but just because you talk a lot of shit doesn't mean you're gonna win all your fights. And so that's why I picked Ricky Bandejas, the underdog. I put $800 on him, and he came out there and starched Gallagher in the first round. I did not expect that. God damn, he knocked him out in the first round pretty cold. It was highly emotional, not emotional like in a bitch way, but in a way of there was a lot of trash talk. So even after Ricky Bandejas knocked him out, he was in his face like, "What now, motherfucker?" Because James Gallagher, I guess, had been telling him 10-2, like, you know, talking hella shit, and he was like 11-1, motherfucker. Like, he was talking trash, you know, just he had to feed James Gallagher some humble pie, and hey, we made a bet on that. We bet 800, and you can see the odds right there. Ricky Bandejas was actually almost a 2-1 underdog, so we made quite a bit of money right there on Ricky Bandejas. So hey, it is what it is. Let's continue. That was our only Bellator bet, but of course we had the next week we had UFC Lincoln Gaethje versus Vic, which we also placed our bets on. So first of all, we bet on the prelims, Fight Pass and Fox Sports prelims. You can see we had 300 on Ronnie Yaya, 400 on Drew Dober, 300 on Joanne Calderwood, 300 on Andrew Sanchez, all of who won. And even though we picked Corey Sandhagen to win, I felt like it was good odds on Yuri Alcantara, and really he almost won that fight with a first round submission. Sandhagen's arm might be broken after the fight. That was a great fight. Alcantara almost had the submission, and we would have won that bet if he didn't. But either way, that you see how that is. We picked Sandhagen to win, but we put money on Alcantara, and literally both of them almost won. But we didn't put a lot of money on him because we picked him to lose. You can see only $200, so we don't make anything back off the 200. But the other 4 bets we did win, so we will make some money, as you'll see on the payoff portion of the video. But we also bet on the main card, so let's show off those bets before we get into the payoff and see where episode 40 takes us to our new all-time high. So we got right here the main card bets. We bet 500 on John Moraga, who lost, so we don't make anything back there. We bet 300 on Jake Ellenberger, who lost. We don't make anything back there. But the next 3 fights, we actually won all 3. Courtney Casey won her fight against Angela Hill. You see we had 500 there. Michael Johnson actually won his fight versus Andre Fili, 500 there. And when we placed our bet, he was actually a favorite. A lot of people started betting, I believe, on Andre Fili, because by the end of the time the fights came, Michael Johnson was actually an underdog. So with that being said, it looked like there might have been quite a bit of action on Fili. But we picked Johnson, 500 on Johnson. He was a slight favorite, so we still win some money. But if we would have waited, we could have probably won more, because he ended up, by the night of the fights, I looked at the odds, and he was actually an underdog, which was pretty crazy, that much of a move in the lines. And I'm not the most experienced bettor as far as fucking, I don't do parlays and all of that shit. I really stick to the straight bets. That's where we've had our most success. Friend of mine showed me a place where you can like practice parlays, and I haven't had as much success on my parlays as I have on my straight bets. So if I was actually doing this in real life, I'd probably just stick to the straight bets, because you can see I've had so much success. Started with 500 and we're about to be up to 12,000. But before we get into that, of course, we bet 300 on the main event. We picked the highlight Justin Gaethje to get the W. We didn't know he was going to get the knockout in the first round like that. Holy shit, but did he get the win? And he was actually an underdog. A lot of people counted him out, so we got that one right as well. And since he was an underdog, we more than doubled up, I believe. So yeah, how big of an underdog was he? I don't know if he was quite a 2-1 underdog. I think he was like, what, plus 145 if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, plus 145. So we still won some good money there on Gaethje. So now let's get to the payoffs, the fun part, full-time family. We got Oh, I'm missing one. Let me add this to the screen real fast for you guys. I of course have to add the Bellator payoff because that was a big part of our payoff with that 800 on Ricky Bandejas. So here that is right here. Put that on the screen. Slide it over here where these ones are. Okay, so you can see there we actually had 800 on Ricky Bandejas, and since he was an underdog at plus 170, we actually got a total payoff of $2,160. Of course, our 800 backing plus our profit. So you add that 2,160 off of the 800 that we bet. You can see how much we have there, but hold on, there's more. Of course, we bet on the prelims and the main card of UFC Lincoln. So we take our 6,900 bucks and we carry it over here. And now you can see with that 6,890, we also won 550 on Ronnie Yaya, 600 on Dober, 481 on Calderwood, 600 back on Sanchez. And so you add all of those together, another 2,000 bucks per se. And now we're up to 9,860 as we go to the main card. Now with that being said, whoa, family, fuck with your boy. Look at that fucking number over there on the left-hand side, the bottom. Oh my God. They had to shadow ban us full-time, family. I hope that, man, I really hope we can get unshadow banned, but this seems like some dangerous shit, man. We got some serious potential, and no one's supposed to beat the house, so I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? So look at that, man. We started with 500, man. Look at that. Fuck with your boy. That's all I'm saying. We didn't win anything back on John Moraga. We didn't win anything back on Ellenberger. But we did win $1,075 on Courtney Casey. We won $870 back on Michael Johnson. Casey was a little bit of an underdog, so with that $500 bet, we made it up that $1,000 back. Johnson, a little bit of a favorite when we placed our bet, only $870 back there. And then, of course, Justin Gaethje, who was a slight underdog as well, we picked to win. We get $720 back there, so that's another $2,000 we're adding to the stash. We end up on our grand finale, episode 40, at an all-time high. Full times fake money bankroll, started from 500, now we're here. $12,500.27. all in a year. Think about that. If you had, see, I started with $500 because it was reasonable. There's people out in the world with more than $500. I might not know them, but I know there's some of you guys out there. Some of you guys probably even live somewhere where you can bet on the fights. Imagine if somebody had more than 500 bucks and they started when I started on this bankroll. If you started, I started with 500. If you would have started this with, let's just say 1,000, just double what I was at, double that, you would be now at 24,000. If you just started with you just set 1,000 bucks aside for your betting bankroll, you would turn that $1,000 in 1 year into 24,000. You can't do that in a bank, and that is dangerous, and that's probably why I'm shadow banned. And so that's why it sucks, but this has to get taken off of YouTube because I don't want to be shadow banned. I don't want to be on the wrong side of a YouTube algorithm, or even worse, the fucking bookies. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be on the wrong side of that shit. I'd rather do this shit in private and make my own money. You know what I'm saying? So I can't keep this on YouTube, unfortunately. But we will keep this up just because one of these days I'm going to actually have some money, and then I might stop, you know? Whenever I actually have some money and I can actually bet in real life. But we're going to keep this up on Patreon, so, I mean, it's valuable. It's not like I'm fucking asking you to go over there. Like, you can literally be making a whole lot of money right now from your boy. Yes, that's possible, very possible. It's not, I'm not just talking out of my ass either. You can go back week after week. We've got a playlist. All 40 episodes, you can see where we placed our bets, how much money we had, how much money we bet out, how much money we made back. Every single week, you can see how we went from 500 to 12,000 in a year. So with that being said, this is episode 40. This is the grand finale. Don't treat me like no motherfucking chump. Put some respect on my motherfucking predictions. It ain't luck if it happens 40 weeks in a row. Put some respect on my motherfucking research while you're at it. appreciate it, full-time family. Do me a favor, man. We're shadow banned. It cut our GoFundMe got shut down twice. We're shadow banned. It cut our YouTube pay in half. Go if you are planning on making some money off of the bankroll. If you have been already, do me a favor. Sign up for the Patreon. It's only $4.99 a month, or it's even free if you go over there. It's just 3 days later you can watch everything for free. So it's still kind of public. But this betting advice, I might have to put $4.99 or minimum, because I don't know if I can keep this in the public if I just, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to make some money, it's possible. This is episode 40. You can go check me out, check the history. Episode 1 through episode 40. Started at 500. Now we're at 12,500 in 1 year. Fuck with your boy. The rest of this episode is going to be over on Patreon. We're going to be betting on UFC 228 Woodley versus Till. I just broke down the whole card and did the predictions. Also on Patreon, you can see my full prelim and main prelim predictions. The pay-per-view predictions and breakdown is always on YouTube. But if you're interested in the Fox Sports prelims or the Fight Pass prelims, I break all of those down and predict those as well over on Patreon. So, I mean, I'm working. If you want to help support the channel, because we really need it at this point through the shadow ban. Hopefully it's not permanent. If it is, that's really going to fucking suck. We might have to restart from the bottom, rename a whole channel, all type of shit to avoid this shadow ban. I don't know what the fuck we can do to get it off our back. But it did seem like it was lifted for like a 1 week span. So hopefully we can get it lifted again. Shit, I don't know, man. Hopefully. This is the grand finale, though. It's a lot better to end on episode 40 than episode 39. A lot less anticlimactic. And so, yeah, man, it is what it is. I appreciate you guys for checking this out. Everyone that was along for the journey, for whenever you came. I know a lot of people enjoyed this on YouTube. But like I said, it's not going nowhere. Just go to the Full-Time MMA Dojo over at patreon.com/fulltimemma, and maybe you can make some money off of your boy. I'm out.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking DOWG!